There is a generalization in my generation of what a healthy brain is, what it should be, where nerves should connect, what messages should be sent. I wonder, I doubt, if any human in our Earth's young life has ever had a perfect brain. No disfluencies or inconsistencies, no faults, no itty-bitty snips. Pause. Breathe. My religion bars me from judging others. That's my God's job and no one else's. Most other religions and spirituality seem to say the same. So why is it that I have a mental illness, mental disturbance? Because of my SNP, my diagnosis. Because you, he, she said so. We live on a spectrum. One person may imagine her whole life never breaking down. What a blessing. She's obsessive, compulsive. Another, bullied and teased in school, but strong and successful when grown. He stutters. I snap once, maybe twice. A puddle at 16, beginning the evaporation process all over again. 17. Pause. Diagnosed. I have ADHD. Breathe. Drifting out of the clouds, flitting and floating past my 7 billion neighbors. If we all have SNPs, no one model brain with every process flowing perfectly. If we all have SNPs, aren't we all mentally ill? Define illness. Society. Anything within one that could cause one to fold. Scene. I have a fever. 103. Maybe you do too. 99. But like Horton's wise words, a fever's a fever, no matter how small. So don't tell me I'm sick because the doctors have a name for my SNP. Pause. Breathe. Why don't we just call it a difference in thought, in cognition? Not bad, and likely good. Pause. Relax. We live on a spectrum, a vast, infinite spectrum. We live, all on our own points, on a vast, infinite spectrum. Look at these tests. This is a boy's, a girl's, a man's, a woman's brain. On a screen. Do you see anything wrong here? No. But she killed someone. He hung himself. Nothing wrong I can see here. Pause. Contemplate. What if it is the fluid in our brains, in our minds? All are vastly different kinds. Maybe that was where his or her SNP laid. Perhaps an orphan, perhaps abandoned, perhaps abused. Who knows? Who really had us made? New thought. Special education. An alternative learning environment for the kids you see every day. Those called dumb, those called slow, those called helpless. Because they simply don't learn well through a standardized, generalized system of sitting, watching, memorizing, and testing. Pledging allegiance to a country whose public education system time and time again fails them and their futures. Example, Jacob Barnett, autistic. Sure. Put that boy into special education. All the while with an IQ higher than Einstein's, modern intelligence's archetype. But hey, he has his well-known SNP, so he must be in need of a slower curriculum because there's no way he can be anything other than his diagnosis. Why is it that he was considered mentally disabled? Disabled in what way? Because the doctors told his mother and father he would never speak, never read, never be a productive member of society? Because doctors can never be wrong? Because clearly unproductive, mentally ill children work for their master's degrees, their PhDs at age 14, and speak for millions around the world to hear about forgetting what you know about people with autism. I don't think of Jacob as disabled. Not when he found his right way to be enabled. Not when he can do so much more than our standard child in so many ways. If we consider Jacob to be disabled, then every person who has ever had a learning weak point in math, reading, or science should be called the same. And everyone has, so everyone is. But we know better. There must be a better way for him or her to learn. He or she'll do fine. But of course they'll figure it out. They have no diagnosis. We just have to encourage, embolden, and push them. Disclaimer. I am not saying that all people suffer serious mental handicaps, not in the slightest. But why can't we think the same of kids like Jacob? Why can't we look past the words on a doctor's paper and say, this does not define me, the stereotypes that surround me do not define me, and I can learn how to be in a way that's good for me. Really, all education should be special when you think about it. All children deserve individually distinctive opportunities to let their lights shine, rather than have us suppress or stifle their natural callings. So they can ace standardized testing, so they become successful, proper, boring, conforming members of a screwed up society that we all keep saying needs to be fixed, that will never be fixed as long as we keep raising our kids the way we were. If we are all unique beings, not a one the same, then why do we standardize, regulate, systemize the way our future leaders learn? Pause. Truth or dare? I dare you to show me two people who have lived exactly the same life. Give up? Forgiven. We are snowflakes, unique specks of matter floating aimlessly through the purposeful air. Just because a doctor, a scientist, a professor showed you a picture of what everything about one should be like, does that give any of us 7 billion bundles of biological substance the right to banish, demean, or lessen the more damaged, the more sensitive, the more seemingly abnormal one? Pause. Question. Would you rather have a damaged, i.e. different than model brain, or a damaged soul, brought upon by a life lived in judgment of those who ramble, itch, bounce, scream, and shout, who rush, crawl, cry, punch, and hit? Pause. Complete. No human is born with a truly evil intent to kill or to harm another. Not even a natural snip could predetermine that. Nature versus nurture holds water, debate, and controversy, but it is without a doubt environment that tortures a preset mind. She has severe clinical depression, grows up in a musical family, one with love abounding. She lives happily until age 95. He has anxiety, volunteers at a shelter, feeds and clothes the homeless, awakes at 5 a.m. every day just to meditate, lives in peace until age 99. She has an undiagnosed damp in the neural passageways that no one sees. 30 years old, Ivy League degree, professional athlete, maybe. Emaciated winter being, crawling dead in a skin bag of bones. Freedom comes from love and acceptance and learning, not from force and expectation and denial. It's simply that simple. Pause. Remember. Pause. Finish story. We live on a spectrum, infinite, each on his or her own point. Crisp, cut, tender, gentle lines. Delicate designs. No snips, just different designs. Snowflakes with snowfall kinds of lives. On a sunny, dark, cold, hot, beautiful Earth day. I've never seen an uglier deformed snowflake. And to those who say otherwise, I say nay.